Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. Time has come. You guys did your job. Now it's time for me to do mine. I want to thank everybody for all the great questions, whether you left them in comments on videos or you emailed them to me or whatever. Thank you so much. It was a lot of questions. Without further ado, here we go. First question comes from Vangirl Cheryl. And she says, would it be wise to attach a folding 4-piece 120 watt panel to my roof? Well, my knee-jerk reaction is it probably wouldn't be wise. But my friend Lindy, Lava Lindy, y'all know, she has a folding panel taped to the roof of her van. And it's been there for a long time. So, would it be wise? I don't know. There's better ways to do it. Can you do it? Absolutely. Just make sure you use good duct tape or whatever you're going to attach it with. Make sure it's good. But yeah, I think you could do it. I mean, that's a lot of work for 120 watts. You know, the truth is there's a lot better system. I'm sure you probably already have those solar panels already. But if you did a little bit, you could get a lot more power. So, I mean, it wouldn't be easy to get 240 watts. So keep that in mind, and if you want, Cheryl, send me an email and we can discuss this in more depth at thevintagevanlife@gmail.com. But thank you so much, Vangirl Cheryl, for that question. Okay, so the next one is going to be from Bill Watson, 425. Bill Watson, 425. And his question is pretty simple. He says, what happened to your other e-bike? So I'm not exactly sure which e-bike you're referring to, Bill. Depending on how long you've been watching the channel, the first e-bike I had was the white folding electric XP, the original electric folding XP. And I had that for a long time. I put about 3,000 miles on that bike. And then this past season out in Quartzsite, we used it for the e-bike drags, but some other e-bike companies sent me some other e-bikes. And of those, I kept the green Movkin, which is also a folding e-bike, and I sold the white e-bike. I practically gave it away, but I sold it to somebody out in Quartzsite, and last time I saw that person, they were still using it. So if you're referring to the white one, that's what happened to that. The green folding Movkin Q12, I'm sorry, Q20, I still have that one. That's the one that we keep right here in the War Wagon, folded up. And now we got the Pucky Puppy Boxer ST, which I'm going to keep that at the War Ranch because you can't fold it up, and the only way I could haul it in the War Wagon would be on Warren's carrier that goes in the receiver hitch. So thank you, Bill Watson, for that question. Next one we got is from David Stewart, 9459. And David Stewart says, how does a person from Canada get some of your stickers? That's a great question. Let me tell you how you do that. So there's a couple different ways you can get stickers. You can go to the Sticker Mule store, and I'll leave you a link in the description, and you can buy stickers there. You can also go to the email, send me an email at thevintagevanlife@gmail.com and tell me you want some stickers, and I'll send them out to you. Or what I recommend is the easiest way, the best way to do it. Let's say it that way. What I recommend is the best way to do it is I have a Cash App, I have a Venmo, and I have a PayPal. And just make a donation on one of those. You know, like whatever you make a donation and you leave your address, I'll send you some stickers. You know, if you want to know, like $2.50 a sticker, and shipping is, I don't know, what does it cost? Probably costs like 70 cents for a stamp anymore. I don't even know. So use those numbers, and you know, we got 4 different kinds of stickers right now. I don't know, maybe it costs a little bit more to ship them to Canada, but yeah, Dave Stewart. You know, like I said, and I'm like one of those you don't gotta buy a ticket to enter kind of people. Like if you want a sticker and you ain't got no money to get a sticker, man, just send me an email and I'll send you a sticker. But thank you, Dave Stewart 9459, for that question. All right, so the next one is going to be from Rockatilin, Rocatilin, and they said, can you do clean-shaven van life? Well, if you look back at some of the very first videos, I think there's some clean-shaven van life of me. I think. I might have had a small goatee, but At one point, I was clean shaven, and I think that was while I had the War Wagon. So if you look on the playlist that's titled Vintage Vanlife, you check that out, and the very first videos on the channel are in that playlist, and you'll get to see what clean shaven van life looks like. So thank you for that question. Next one is from Heath Bobby Hess, and his question is, have you ever been to Mount Whitney, Lone Pine, California? It's a nomadic dream for sure. 4,000 foot elevation, maybe that says. I should definitely get better at reading my own penmanship. Anyway, it's a nomadic dream for sure. Free camping or pay, everything is there. I have not been to Lone Pine, California. I've seen you leave a comment about this before, this place, and it seems like a pretty neat place, like kind of a place that I might want to check out. Hopefully they don't have sirens like that. There's one thing, man, there's so many sirens in Tucson. But no, I have not been there, so I'll have to look into that. It sounds like a fun place. Thank you for that question. Next one is going to be from Doc Mo 6549. His question is, fixing to leave Kentucky in an old camper van and head west. Where in whatever state would be a good spot? Dog doesn't like chains, but I want to be close to a town and at some elevation. No cops and a low amount of people. I'm not antisocial, but I don't want to wake up and see people. Well, that's not the easiest. I mean, that's what everybody wants, right? That's what I want too. I do know some spots that are kind of like that. I don't want to give them all out, but I will give you one. So if you want to go to a spot that's in elevation and you don't want to wake up and see people, and you don't want... The hard part is going to be leaving your dog off a leash. Not because of your dog, because of other people's dogs. I don't know anybody's dogs, but I always think that off-leash dogs are fine to the best behaved dogs, but it's a thing, it's a thing. So that's going to be your toughest thing. But I will tell you this, a good spot that you can go that's up in elevation is called Buena Vista, Colorado. There's lots of BLM camping. There's at least there's 4 camp spots, campgrounds that are basically in city limits that are BLM 14 day. And they're all within a quarter of a mile of the Arkansas River. So if you wanted to go out there, and plus Buena Vista is designed for van life. People there are pretty cool. It's at 9,000 feet. It gets cold as hell there during the winter. But during the summer, it's usually 90. It doesn't get much hotter than 90. And the Arkansas River's right there. So Buena Vista, you want to check out one called Elephant Rock. There's a turtle one out there. There's a Headwaters one out there. And then there's some real small ones that are really nice right on the water. But you have to basically be driving up and somebody pulling out to get those. But if I was going to give you one spot to go check out, would be Buena Vista. And Leadville's above that. Buena Vista and Leadville. Those are where you should go check out. And if you do, let me know what you thought of that. Doc Mo 6549. Thank you for the question. Next one is going to be from Bob Smith, 2704P. And his says, can you give a realistic breakdown of the monthly costs on the road, including phone and Starlink? Well, I'll do my best. We'll start out with, I don't have Starlink, so 0 for Starlink. And I signed up for Mint Mobile this year, and I did it in March when they had this massive thing. It's $180 for the year for Mint Mobile. I did that in March. It's July. I'll be planning on staying at Mint Mobile. I know that 180 is just for your first year. After that, it's still only $360. It's like $1 a day is what it costs for Mint Mobile. So $365 a year. And like I said, they're as good as my previous carrier. That would be how much the phone costs. Now, as far as food and stuff like that, and gas is, it's really hard to break that down. It all depends on how much you're moving. If you're going from 14 day to 14 day, and you're in a place like BV where you don't got to go 25 miles because they don't fill up. You know, you're not going to spend much money on fuel. Now, sometimes when you're in these smaller mountain towns and stuff like that, you're going to spend a little bit more money on food, but not in comparison. Fuel's always going to be your biggest expense if you're moving. If not, then it's going to be food. But I got really good at shopping. You guys that have been watching this channel for a while know that, you know, like I got some meals, some great meals that I can make for like $4. I mean, that's like a day's worth of food. So I was maybe not eating quite enough. I noticed as soon as I got home, I put like 6 pounds on, and now I'm about 10 pounds. But, so that would be, you know, and I have a place that I rent every month. So that's, a monthly rental fee there. So you have to break that down into your costs. But, I mean, there's no way I couldn't do this on $1,000 a month. I mean, with ease, you know. Now, if I didn't have the War Ranch, I could do it for less. But with the War Ranch, what I pay for rent there, it would blow you guys' mind. I got a really smoking deal on what I pay for that. But yeah, I would say you could do it on $1,000. And I mean, you just got to figure it out. It's all adapting and figuring it out and just figuring out how to maintain. You know, like when I first started out, it cost me a lot more every month. And then I figured out how to do stuff. You know, I figured out like stuff like Upside for your gas and, you know, like mystery cans and discount food tents and discount grocery stores, you know, like they're everywhere. You know, you got Google and all this social media stuff, you know, and it rots a lot of our brains. But if you use it as a valuable tool, it can make your life a lot easier. So I don't really want to give you a solid number, but those are some fees that I've broken it down to. So I hope I helped you out with that, Bob Smith. And if not, send me an email, man, and we can talk a little bit more in depth about things. Thank you very much. The next one is from Syracuse Chris. And he says, do you like the manager training better than you do at the water job? And I kind of answered this in the comment call video too, but I wanted to add it to here because I just want to be humorous with this anymore. That is so far behind. I have seen the reason why Colorado didn't work out. And it wasn't supposed to be there. Somebody left that in the comments when it happened. And that's the truth. It wasn't supposed to be there. A lot of things that have happened in this channel in the last 6 months, I've gotten away from because I wasn't supposed to be there. You know, at the time, didn't make any sense. Now that I'm where I'm at and looking back, it all makes sense. So, yes, I like my new position much better. I like where I'm at much better. I'd rather be out traveling, don't get me wrong. But I got far enough away from myself over the last 6 months that I'm still not back to who I used to be. And the people that leave me emails and stuff like that have said they've seen it in the channel. So I want to thank everybody for sticking it out with me when I kind of lost who I was there for a minute. But don't worry, we're coming back. Keep on vanning, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Syracuse Chris, for that question. Biggity bam, next one. Traveling Merton and Sue. And they said, what surprised you most about Quartzsite after you first arrived? Well, a person like me, I'm not all that social, you know, like I spend most of my time by myself. And if you watched the channel before, the first time I went to Quartzsite, there's nobody else ever in a video. After the fact, though, I made friends out there. You know, I met people that I felt like I knew for a long time just because we had a lot of things in common. Maybe not a lot of things in common, but a nucleus in common. So I guess my intentions were, the first time I went out there was, and I quote myself, I'm going to go out there for 3 days, shoot some videos, and get the hell out of there. And when I tell the story, I ended up staying for 45 days because of the friendships that I made and the prejudice that I had made in my head from being like an antisocial kind of person. All that stuff didn't happen. I mean, some of that stuff happened, you know, especially the second year I was out there, but not much. So I guess to answer your question, Merton and Sue, the quick way would be the friendships that I developed there and how fast I developed those friendships. They didn't all last. You know, like some of them were downright the wrong things to do. But like Merton and Sue I met out there, you know, and Raymond and CR View. And, you know, I met a lot of people out there. I don't want to go into a big list because if I miss somebody, then I'll feel bad. But those were 3 of the first people that I've ever met out there. And I still talk to all of them. So the friendships in Quartzsite are what surprised me the most. Hope you guys are doing well. And you left a comment the other day that said 18 weeks to Quartzsite. So we'll see you soon, guys. What was your favorite part about Quartzsite? E-bike drag racing was a lot of fun. that whole compound setup thing, that was a lot of fun out there. Yeah, that was the most fun, was the e-bike drag racing for me. Now for the next one, and this is going to be from Bobby325, and he says, considering the events of the last 6 months, do you think you will ever travel with someone else? Probably not. I've, you know, I call it the failed experiment, and that's really what it was. It was an experiment. I went outside of what I normally function upon. I just did things the way that I normally wouldn't do them. And it was an experiment, and it was no good. Would I travel with someone again? Like right now? No. I mean, you know, I don't know. Honestly, there's probably one person out there that I would travel with, but we don't need to open that can of worms. Yeah, we're just going to keep it at that. That's all I'll say on that, is I probably would not. You know, maybe I would try traveling in a group, but to have any kind of relationship with someone that I was traveling with, especially if it was just the two of us, because that's a commitment, dude. You gotta be like ready to see the same person all the time, every day, and not like go off to work. You know, like it's even tougher to just meet somebody and get thrown into that situation. You know, to go from like doop doo 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 to, oh my gosh, now there's another person there all the time. You know, like everywhere you go, that person's there. Yeah, we're just gonna say nope, probably not. Thank you very much for that question. This was in the email, and this is from John K. John K says, if you could get any van life vehicle, what would it be? I got lots of answers for this because I want everything. But let's just say an Explorer 230 VXL would be, that's the van that I want. It's a 3500 chassis, it's a dually. And it's like, you know, 220, it's a 230, so it's 230 inches bumper to bumper, has a shower and a bathroom and all that stuff in it. That's the one I would like. Now, if I could just get whatever I wanted, I want a four-wheel drive Chinook. You know, any Chinook, really. Any Chinook made after 1997, I would be happy with. There's a lot of them with V10s out there, and there's some big block 460s. But yeah, that's what I would like, a Chinook. That's just good. Pleasure Ways are really nice too, but for a van, I want a VXL 230, and for whatever rig I want a Chinook four-wheel drive. So, thank you very much for that question. And I got one more written down here, and this one is from Susan J. And Susan J says, what is one upgrade you want to do to the War Wagon that you haven't done yet? First of all, thank you, Susan, for that question. I mean, the one is the motor. You know, I want to put now I want to put a Hemi in it, because old Nick at Naughty 77 talked me into putting a Hemi in this thing. So, motor and transmission upgrade to a modern driveline with an overdrive transmission, or something with a gear vendor's overdrive. I want to put overdrive in to get better gas mileage. If it wasn't for the motor driveline, repair the air conditioner on the cab maybe, or the heat. And now last night my windshield wipers went out. So the heat doesn't work in the cab, the windshield wipers don't work in the cab, the air conditioner doesn't work in the cab. So that's some stuff that I need to get. I still have the original water tank for this thing, you know, to put the original water tank in it and plumb in the regular plumbing, but I don't know. That just seems like a whole bunch of work. That's about it, I guess. You know, I wouldn't mind having like 900 amp hours worth of battery, but that's more like, you know, the coach part. But yeah, the number one thing that I would want to do with the War Wagon is put a Hemi in it now. So, all right, guys. I think that's enough questions that made it our 20 minutes. I want to thank you all for, first of all, supporting the channel and liking the videos and subscribing to the channel and leaving the comments. You guys are awesome. You know, it's neat. I like the way you guys take, you know, biggity bams and you say stuff like that and ask about how Monkey's doing. You guys aren't afraid to be goofy like me, and that's pretty neat, because right now, man, we live in a world that is way too serious and full of itself. At least that's what I think. And a little bit of fun goes a long way. So, thanks to everybody who asked a question. I hope I answered your question. If you like this video and you like this kind of content and you want to see more and you want to do more Q&As, maybe we'll do one every quarter or something like that. let me know down in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you did. We're coming up on 7,000, which is insane. My goal for the year is 7,500. So as of right now, I mean, I think we're definitely within 600 of getting our yearly goal, and it's only the middle of July. So thank you guys so much. It's astonishing and it's humbling. So thank you all. But that's going to do it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Keep on questioning.